So my sister came down to my granny's, which is who lives half an hour away, last weekend, and my mum came down too. And since they were going up to see my sister, I came with them. So I got to see the baby for the first time on Sunday, um, and I'm very impressed with the father on how good he was with the child. He had three boys, and you sense that he really really liked this one because I felt that he really wanted like a girl, like he liked the opportunity to have a different sex and have a little princess. And I was trying to have visions of like the future and how things would be with them. And I saw him like completely doting over this girl, and this girl completely loving the attention and being daddy's little princess. And As for the soul that's inside this baby, it's 4 weeks. She's 4 weeks old. I definitely think it's a very feminine. So I can't really say anything about like who I think she was or whatever. But I felt that she is enjoying being a female. So some souls I feel like with Sophie's other child that was born last year. Um, I found myself calling it an it, and I found that actually to be quite appropriate because I felt like the soul could be either way. Like even though I believe that that soul was the father who passed away, I believe that he could have come back as male or female, and I think he would have adjusted to whatever sex he had. Like I think he was a male before, and I think he would definitely be like, oh, I love being a male, I don't want to be anything else. But I could also see him being the type of person who could come back as a female and grow up being a female and say exactly the same thing. I love being a female, I don't want to be able to say everything. So I feel like there's different types of souls when it comes to sex. Some sexes, some souls definitely prefer being female, some definitely prefer being male. But I think 70% of them actually only prefer the sex that they're given. So if they were raised up as a boy, they would say that they feel like a boy, they want to be a boy, and this is the sex that they are. And I feel like some if they were given a female body and was brought up and raised as a female, they would say that this is my appropriate sex. So I feel like a lot of souls are kind of adaptable to whatever they're given, and which is kind of how it should be, I guess, because there's a high chance that you will come back as the opposite sex. Hence, you need to be aware of that. But I feel like there's some souls that definitely prefer one sex more than the other. I'm one of them. I definitely prefer being female, and I would not ever want to be a guy. And it's just not. It's not me. It's everything that I'm kind of not really. But yeah, I felt that the soul that was inside this child is glad that she's got a female body. I sensed that because every time I saw, like, it was a very very cute baby. It was a very 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 cute baby, and every time I kind of thought in my head, oh, that's so cute. It would like do like a yawn or some sort of weird face expression that would just be like even cuter. So it almost felt like her spirit was hearing what I was hearing in my voice, in my head, and trying to act up to it. And I feel like that's a very feminine quality. Whereas with Sophie's other child, I felt like if I thought, oh, that's cute, it would kind of do something like move, like make a fist movement or something. And I felt that's probably a more indication, not necessarily because of the body, but that's probably a sign that that soul did actually want to be a male. But I felt it was more appropriate for the other child because I that's how I see genderless. When I was doing the walk a few days ago, I really wanted to write the it because there was a person there who was genderless, and I was thinking, is it I don't like they. She was talking. I think I overheard the conversation about the topic of they, and I don't like they. They reminds me of two people, and if you are calling yourself a they, that means two or more. I'm certain they is a reference to two or more. And if someone's calling you they, it's going to cause lots of confusion in your soul about like, are there two of you? You've got the masculine side and the feminine side. Now, to see them as two different people, you're going to be left confused because you're going to be left thinking, well, am I thinking for the masculine side or the feminine side? And and then you're going to be confused as to who to be. Like, should I be this side of me or this side of me? If you start seeing them as two different people, I don't know how they would feel, because technically they are not two people, they are just one person. It, she, they, that you can say they in that term, so they are just one person. That's a correct term, I think. It is a bit confusing actually though, because I say not to call them they, and then yeah, I just called them they are they they as in, I'm saying they because there's loads of them. There's loads of these um what's the name, non-binary, they as in non-binary. So if I say they or them, I'm referring to like an individual. I'm actually just referring to many individuals, so that's where they and them come from. But yeah, to actually to call them they whilst referring to a whole group of non-binary people, that is a group of people. But if you're talking to a person as an individual and actually speaking to them, you know, come this way, um, she came this, or he should come this way, or they. You know, if you say someone, it actually say, if you talk to someone and refer to one person as being a they, I think it's going to add confusion, because it's going to make them think which side of me should come, or what, maybe my female side wants to come, or my masculine side doesn't want to come, or something. You know, it's going to. I feel it's going to. I feel that way, and I feel strongly that way because I feel like a they, because I've got me and my higher self, and that kitty that I saw with two faces, and people were looking like, oh, it's cute, it's cute. It didn't. It looked like it had two brains. One wanted to look this way, and one wanted to look that way. It couldn't walk. It was horrible. That horror. There was an image. I don't know where it came from. Instagram or something. I don't know. It just popped up on my screen, and I was thinking how awful that was to have two faces, and perhaps have two souls in that brain. I don't know what it was thinking, but that it reminds me of me and my higher self, because we're thinking very, very differently. My higher self seems to be talking to me and communicating with me, but she didn't give me any warning that I was going to be ignored for 11 years, and I can't understand why. And therefore I do feel like a they, but I feel like my they is at war with each other, and the idea of calling a person a male they, implying that they're two people, is not a nice thing, because you know they wouldn't know which way to be. They as in all non-binary people. You know, if you're transgender, that's where you have a sex that you prefer to be, you want to look like this, and you do look like this. You know, if someone is dressing like a male, looking like a male, call them a male. If someone's dressing or looking like a female, call them a female. But if it's unsure, if it's not known what sex they look, I don't think there's anything wrong with calling it an he, with a he. Thing is though, if you are looking, because there was a time where they were walking and someone did use the word, you know, that they were talking to a whole group of people, and they said, I think they just said he or something, you know, he's coming, and I feel like if you are non-binary, hence you're not attached to a he or a she, then either one that anyone used should be the same. You know, if it's them, hims and hers, he and she's, you know, if you're not attached to either, then it shouldn't bother you which one they call you, because you're not attached to either. But I feel like I just don't like they. You know, if you want to call, if you're non-binary and someone's calling you a he or she, it shouldn't bother you. And okay, maybe it might not sound that great, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it, because I use it all the time and it can relate to a thing or a person. But I don't like the idea of referring to an individual as a they, because I don't like it. But yes, anyway, going back to the baby that I'm talking about. I actually found even though she looked like a female and I felt that she had a female soul, I actually found myself calling him a he a few times, just because it reminded me of Sophie's older child. I haven't seen that older child since he was three weeks old, and I'm furious at the social services. You know, I was thinking maybe I should go on to Big Brother and test the world to see if they think I'm capable of looking after a baby. But I would have done that because if they would have said no, I would have wanted to kill them. And because social services have said no, I want to kill them. And, you know, if I had an option actually to have the baby back now, or to kill anyone involved in failing me, I would choose the revenge plot. I want revenge far more than I want anything in the world. what they did is has destroyed my ability to like or care about humans, the human species. I don't know why they haven't made any contact with me ever since the child was born. I don't know why. They're supposed to be social services, you know. When I heard he had an uncle and two aunties in, you know, in Madeira, I didn't mind the idea of the child going to live with them. You know, technically he's their family too, and that would have, and there's a lot of them, and you know they are better at looking after kids than my sister and my mum. But yeah, when I found out that the brother that the brother and his wife who wanted the child the most. In fact, they're the only ones that made it that said that they would like the child. But when I found out that they lived in South Africa, I didn't want to judge South Africa because I've never been there. But I had a conversation with someone in the jacuzzi a week later who lived there and who said that a lot of farmers get burnt alive, and you know, I've heard lots of stories, but I don't necessarily know how much of them are true. And I think a lot of the stories, when I went to Thailand a few years ago, there was someone from South Africa, and he did tell me some stories, but I can't actually remember what he said because it was like 10 years ago. So, but yeah, I haven't heard good things. And that woman in the jacuzzi confirmed that it's a very dangerous place. I think she was aiming more for the white people. You know, she was saying it's a very dangerous place for white people, and you're more likely to get attacked or killed because you're white. I don't necessarily agree with that part. I feel like it's dangerous for all races, but if there has been a lot of black slavery around the world, and if there are a lot of bad people in South Africa, I know that they would use things like that as an excuse to hurt white people. Or white people used to hurt us, so we're going to get our revenge. You know, I know there's some people who think like that, even though the white person that they could be hurting might have actually been a black slave in their past life, you know, because of reincarnation. They don't see it that way. But yeah, it's just so funny how, not funny, it's horrible how inverted the world is. You know, Madonna is my representation, or God representation, and she is trying to get kids out of South Africa. Social services are doing the exact opposite, and they're trying to take God's nephew and adopt him into South Africa. You know, social services are wrong when they think that adopting a child and sending them off to a really dangerous part of the world is a good idea. You know, I mean, if this family would have, you know, showed interest, said to social services, we want this kid, how do we get hold of the kid? And then the kid, the social services would have said, well, here's the family members, here's the people you have to talk to. You know, I really wanted this kid. I'm pretty sure I told the auntie at the funeral of one of the aunties that you know, I was going to take on responsibility, and I tried my best. But these freaks are, I don't know, if that's generally how they feel, and they genuinely feel that I don't deserve that kid, then I genuinely want them dead. And I don't care about any of them. I want their kids to die first. Like, that's how bad it is. I want their kids to die first, and then I want them to kill themselves over their sadness. That is what I want. And you know, I was saying that I wanted to go onto Big Brother and test the world to see this. Why? Because I wanted to feel this way about all of those people. And instead, I haven't got on that show. And instead, my hatred and anger is now just being felt towards anyone that's working in social services right now. I don't care. You're scum. If your people are doing this to people and taking people who are perfectly capable of looking after a child and saying that they can't do it, so you can make money out of, you know, if they explained, there are some reasons why it's the child's best not with me, because my sister winds me up, my mum's completely mad, and not having that child would mean that these two people don't pester and bother me that much. You know, I'm fine with the child and I'm happy with the child, but I don't. These two people wind me up. And so if they would have said something like, you shouldn't have the child because your relationship with Sophie isn't very good, and you know, you get very stressed out over it. I mean, if they would have said something like that, then it's not understandable, because they've made no contact whatsoever, and then to tease me by saying that they're going to adopt the child into South Africa. It's like telling Madonna, say Madonna hadn't had any kids. Sorry, you haven't had any kids. You've got no proof that you can look after these kids. We're not going to give you any opportunity to look after the kids because we don't think you can do it. And but don't worry, there's someone living in the Bronx, an auntie of the father, the uncle of the dead father, who's living in the Bronx or some other really dangerous part of America, and we think that they're more capable than you are. I mean, that's literally what they've done, and I don't think they realize how stupid they are. Um, but yeah, um, I've got a feeling. To be honest, I never actually thought that they were ever going to do that. I mean, when they did say that they were considering that as an option, I never actually believed it. I thought it was. I thought, well, if they've denied me, it's because they want to make money out of this child. Now, if they want to make money out of a child, they're not going to be sending them off for adoption in a different country. But my sister a few weeks ago was just like, yeah, no, they definitely are. No, it's 100%. 100% that they are going to adopt the child, and then just that just pissed me off because it's like, why are you adopting a child into a really dangerous part of the world when you've got someone who wants the child living in England, and you're not making any attempt to have a conversation or talk, or you just blocked me out and set up some joke court that was just that said nothing and gave me no excuse as to why I failed or anything. And it just, I really really hate human species. And I don't even, I want to do a reality show, but I don't want this reality show to have any type of reality to it any longer. I wanted to be on Big Brother because I wanted people to get to know me, but after they put that show on last year and basically just teased me for a year and then put some other queen on there, it's just like, you ain't on my side. You ain't on my side. You ain't helping me. This isn't helping me. If they would have just put just completely normal people in, or if they would have done something beforehand to make it clear that I was not going to get on, then I would have been less angry. But they didn't. They didn't do any of that. They didn't do much promotion, but they they just wound me up. That's all it did. It wound me up and made me realize that these people don't give one fucking shit about me, even though I've gone through 10 years of an absolute nightmare. Yeah, I don't think they have any ability to give a shit about. I don't think this world has any ability to give a shit about me. So from this year onwards, I will always think of this world as just being a place that hates me and does not want anything to do with me and only wants to hurt me and only wants to think about themselves. And that is how I will think of Earth for the rest of the timeline. I and therefore I can't be doing any reality show. I want to die. I want the planet to blow up, and I want to go and do a reality show on a planet that's nice, which is not this planet, and that will never ever be this planet. Um, so yeah, but there's this, I see the importance of the fake sacrifice. The fake sacrifice is just to see who the bad people are. The bad people are the people who want the worst things to happen to me. You know, if you want to say that I've never had any experience with a kid before and then put it to the test in the same way that social services pissed me off, if you want to say that I've never really been around a kid, do I have the ability to look after the kid? And a lot of people say no. That this reality show that I want to do now has nothing to do with reality. Basically, it's going to have nothing to do with truth. I don't want people to know me. I don't want people. If I've spent a whole year, if I want to kidnap. Basically, I think the plan should be kidnap Leo and let him live with me until I'm ready to do this fake sacrifice. And on this fake sacrifice, I don't know. I mean, either you say that I kidnapped the child and maybe should social services take the child away from me, even though I've been looking after him for a year, or you could just say that I haven't actually had a child and test people to see if they think I'm capable on it. I mean, I don't know what this show is going to be about because I don't want people to know me. I don't want people to have anything to do with me. I want people to know that I'm Christ, know that I'm God, and then year after year after year just be like, well, why is she not talking? Why is she not coming out? And I want them to actually want me. And then when I do finally come out in 11 years' time, I want to expose the fact that this world has always hated me and has never been on my side. And these people who've been doing things have not been helping me. No one has been helping me. And I'm going to be furious about this for the rest of the timeline. And I think I do believe that Earth is called Earth because it's like God is saying, the whole timeline, useless. And Mars is like, if we do get to Mars and create a timeline on Mars, that would be like, Mars, finally off Earth. I don't know why this timeline has been so bad. I don't know why I'm still here. I know you've got a very healthy son. So that might be the reason. It's quite a big, healthy sun, so it's going to last for a very long time. But as for Earth and everyone on it, I've given up on them 100%. I will not see them in the same way that I saw them before.